Friends, you never know who you'll touch in life. You never know how or when you'll have an impact or how important your example can be to someone else. My faith helps me understand that circumstances don't dictate my happiness or my inner peace. The chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. You have to be who you are in this world, no matter what. At the end of the day, my friends, it's not about what you have or even what you've accomplished. It's about what you've done with those accomplishments. It's about who have you lifted up? Who have you made better? It's about what you've given back to those people. I think personally a role model is a mentor, someone who you see on a daily basis and you learn from them. My faith taught me how to forgive. Faith taught me when people present themselves in a certain way, there's probably some backstory or issue or reason for the way that they are acting. It's not you, my friends. It's them. And a lot of times, it's about something that's completely out of their control. Put God first. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. And understand, to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. It's not how much you have in life. It's about what you do with what you have. That's where the success is in helping others. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. That's how I live my life. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. My advice is this, and it's simple. Don't just aspire to make a living. Friends, aspire to make a difference. And may God bless each and every one of you, and take good care. Bye-bye. Good morning. My name is Ralf Friedrichs. I am a addiction recovery coach, a life coach, an author, and the host of this show, the Take Your Life Back Today radio show. You can see a video version of this if you go to YouTube under channel Take Your Life Back Today show. Friends, every Sunday afternoon after morning service at the church, the pastor and his 11-year-old son would go out into their town and hand out gospel tracts. This particular Sunday afternoon, as it came time for the pastor and his son to go out to the streets with their tracts, it was very cold outside as well as pouring down rain. The boy bundled up in his warmest and driest clothes and said, "Okay, Dad, I'm ready." Well, friends, his pastor dad asked, ready for what? "Dad, it's time we gather our tracts together and go out." Dad responds, "Son, it's very cold outside and it's pouring down rain." The boy gives his dad a surprised look, asking, "But Dad, aren't people still going to hell even though it's raining?" That is quite a fact. The dad answers, "Son, I am not going out in this weather." Despondently, the boy asks, "Dad, can I go? Please." His father hesitated for a moment, but said, "You can go. Here are the tracts. Be careful, son, and I'll see you when you get home." The boy replied, "Thanks, Dad." And with that, he was off out into the rain. This 11-year-old boy walked the streets of the town, going door to door and handing everybody he met in the street a gospel tract. After hours of walking in the rain, he was soaking, bone-chilled, wet, and down to his very last tract. He stopped at a corner and looked for someone to hand a tract to, but the streets were totally deserted, probably due to the weather. Then he turned toward the first home he saw and started up the sidewalk to the front. He rang the bell, but nobody answered. He rang it again and again and again, but still no one answered. He waited, but still no answer. Finally, this 11-year-old trooper turned to leave, but something stopped him. Again, he turned to the door and rang the bell and knocked loudly on that door with his fist. He waited and waited, something holding him there on that front porch. He rang again, and this time the door slowly opened. Standing in a doorway was a very sad-looking elderly lady. Picture that. She softly asked, "What can I do for you, son?" With radiant eyes and a smile that lit her world up, this little boy said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry if I disturb you, but I just want to tell you that Jesus really does love you. I came to give you my very last gospel tract, which will tell you all about Jesus and his great love for you." With that, he handed her his last tract and turned to leave. Friends, she called to him as he departed, "Thank you, son, and God bless you." The following Sunday morning in church, the pastor, Dad, was in the pulpit, and as the service began, he asked, "Does anybody have a testimony or want to say anything here today?" Slowly in the back of the church, an elderly lady stood up to her feet. As she began to speak, a look of glorious radiance came from her face. "None of you in this church know me. I've never been here before. Before last Sunday, I was not a Christian." Strong. "My husband passed on some time ago, leaving me totally alone in this world. Last Sunday, being particularly cold and rainy, it was even more so in my heart as I came to the end of the line where I no longer had any hope or will to live. So I took a rope and a chair and ascended the stairway into the attic of my home. I fastened the rope securely to the rafter in the roof, then stood on the chair and fastened the other end of the rope around my neck. Standing on that chair, so lonely and broken-hearted, I was about to leap off, when suddenly the loud ringing of my doorbell downstairs startled me. I thought, I'll wait a minute, and whoever it is will probably go. I waited and waited, but the ringing of the doorbell seemed to get more insistent, and then the person ringing also started knocking loudly. I thought to myself again, who on earth could this be? Nobody ever rings my bell or comes to see me. I loosened the rope from my neck and started for the front door. All the while, the bell rang louder and louder. When I opened the door and looked, I could hardly believe my eyes. Picture that, my friends. There, my front porch was this most radiant and angelic little boy I had ever seen in my life. His smile, oh, I could never describe it to you. And the words that came from his mouth caused my heart that had long been dead to leap to life as he explained with a chirrup-like voice, "Ma'am, I just came to tell you that Jesus really does love you. Jesus loves you, ma'am." Then he gave me this gospel tract that I hold in my hand. As the little angel disappeared back into the cold and rain, I closed my door and read slowly every word of this gospel tract. Then I went up to my attic to get my rope and my chair. I wouldn't be needing them anymore. Jesus had saved me. You see, I am now a happy child of the King, and since the address of your church was on the back of this tract that I hold, I've come here to personally say thank you to God's little angel who came just in the nick of time, and by doing so spared my soul from eternal and in hell. There were now no dry eyes in the church, as shouts of praise and honor to the king resounded off the very rafters of the building, Pastor Dad descended from the pulpit to the front pew where the little angel was seated. He took him in his arms and sobbed uncontrollably. Probably no church has had more glorious moment, and and this universe has never seen a papa that was more filled with love and honor for his son, except for the one. The Father, the God, allowed his son, Jesus, to go out into the cold and dark world. He received his son back with joy unspeakable, and as of all heaven shouted praises and honor to the King, the Father sat his beloved Son on the throne far above all principality and power and every name that is named. There may be someone watching this right now who is also going through a dark, cold, and lonely time in your soul. You may be a Christian, for we are not without problems, or you may not know Jesus yet. Whatever the case might be, my friends, if you're watching me, and whatever the problem or situation you find yourself in, no matter how dark it may seem, I want you to know that Jesus really does love you. Call me at 844-405-HELP. Together, you and I, we can help each other take our lives back. Be good to yourselves and always be good to each other. Remember, simple smile to anyone can change their life and can make a difference in your own life. Jesus really does love you. No matter how dark your situation is, no matter it's financial, relationship, health, job, no matter what it might be, my friends, Jesus does love you. That's right, you watching me or listening to me on the radio. Jesus loves you. Know that and remember that. And may God bless you each and every day.